Well, I hope you guys had a fun Halloween. Whether you passed out candy, whether you hung out with your kids, whether you did nothing at all. I hope you had a great day yesterday. I sure did. I sure did. My kids were adorable. Absolutely adorable. My son, my oldest son, dressed up as Poe Dameron. That's the toxic male from the new Star Wars trilogy, who was actually right all along. The movie was set up to kind of make him look like brash and brazen, but he was actually 100% correct, just like men always are. Anyway, so he dressed up as him. It was a great costume. I'll probably put a picture on it here. My son, my middle son, dressed up as Yoda, and he looked really cute. 2-year-old Yoda. He was having a blast. And it rained here, but it was really fun. So anyway, I bring this up about Star Wars. By the way, my infant didn't dress up as anything. He just dressed up as a crazy person, because that's what he is. Anyway, I bring up Star Wars because when I love Star Wars. I mean, you probably know that about me. You've probably seen Star Wars stuff back behind me. There's pictures. There's all kinds of stuff. Ever since I was younger, I love space. I loved astronomy. I love the images. I remember I had this coffee table book about the universe, and it had so many awesome pictures in it of the different planets and nebulae and galaxies and just stuff that was it makes your mind just soar. It's just amazing. And that's probably where my love of Star Wars came from too. I mean, who doesn't want to hop in an X-wing and be able to jump from planet to planet? And it's just so interesting. I mean, it's just one of those things that's just the fantasy of it. It's just so appealing. It's so appealing. And I loved looking at these NASA books and just imagining what would it be like to fly an X-wing to Neptune or something like that. I mean, it's just totally awesome. And so I never had the mathematical chops to be an astronomer. My father is a nuclear engineer, so he definitely had the math skills. I didn't, nor did I have the love for it. And you really need to have good math skills to be an astronomer. So I didn't ever pursue that. But I think I can really kind of pinpoint one reason why I didn't even attempt, really. Because I could do math. I mean, I never really loved it, but I was always capable in math. But when I went to college, I took one astronomy class, actually, at the University of Maryland, and I never really pursued it any further. And I tried to think back as to why this was, and I'm pretty sure that one reason was because I found out that a lot of the pictures that I had been seeing were fake. I mean, just fake. And this is not like conspiracy theory stuff. This is real. I remember reading about radio telescopes and how they would take images, and they would put these radio signals together, and then essentially they would add all the colors that you see and all that kind of cool stuff, the things that make it just so awesome. It's all added. I mean, it doesn't really look like that. It's not a real photo. Even from the Hubble, they don't release pictures from the Hubble without tinkering with them. And that really upset me. I remember thinking, I was like, man, that's stupid. These are fake. Now, don't take my word for it. Here's an article from space.com, and it is called "The Truth Behind the Photos: What the Hubble Space Telescope Really Sees." Let me just read a little bit of this to you. This is shocking stuff. This is a picture of the Cat's Eye Nebula. This is what I'm talking about. You see a picture like this, you're like, wow, that's amazing. And here's what the article says. It says, the nearly 20-year-old Hubble Space Telescope has taken many iconic images of the cosmos and is even the star of a new 3D IMAX movie that gives viewers a chance to fly through these snapshots. But does Hubble show us what the universe really looks like? Yes and no, according to NASA. Yes and no, according to NASA. Think about that for a second. And this paragraph is very truthful because these photos are iconic. You could probably, in your head right now, think of a number of photos that you've never forgotten for your whole life. You've never forgotten, and they're tattooed on your brain. It's not really what space looks like. That's weird, man. That's weird. It says, when Hubble beams down images, astronomers have to make many adjustments, such as adding color, patching multiple photos together to that raw data before the Space Observatory's images are released to the public. Listen to this here. I really want you to see this. says, we often use color as a tool, whether it's to enhance the object's detail or to visualize what ordinarily could never be seen by a human eye. Because these telescopes and these radio telescopes and these things, they pick up like infrared light and things, ultraviolet, stuff that you can't really see with your eye. And what they do is they add it to the picture, and it makes it more fantastic. It makes it more interesting and all that kind of stuff. It's really just like what? Why do they think they have to do this? Like, don't you think that I would think your pictures of space as it really is would be interesting in themselves? I mean, I just don't know why the need for this. I just don't get it. It really upset me when I was a kid. This is the quotation that I thought was so interesting, because it really kind of makes you not know what to believe about this. Ready? Here's the quote from NASA. Creating color images out of the original black and white exposures is equal parts art and science. Equal parts. So those pictures that you remember, it doesn't really look like that. It doesn't really look like that. If you were in a spaceship, if you were in an X-Wing, and you were in that nebula, it doesn't look like that. Now here's this one's going to blow your mind. You might already know this, but this one's going to blow your mind. You know the famous blue marble picture? The blue marble picture that was on all iPhones when the iPhone came out, right? That's a fake picture. That's a fake picture. Sort of fake, but sort of not. And this is not, again, this is not conspiracy theory. This is from NASA. This is an image. This is an interview with the guy, Robert Simon. He's the lead data visualizer and information designer from NASA. He created this image. He put this image together. He photoshopped this picture of Earth. Let me just read this paragraph to you. And this really bothers me. Like, what, they don't think we can handle it? They don't think we can handle what it really looks like? I just don't get this. Look, listen to this. Ready? The last time anyone took a photograph from above low Earth orbit that showed an entire hemisphere was during 1972 Apollo 17. So what he's saying here, and what NASA is saying, is we have not taken a picture of the entire globe, the entire Earth, in over 40 years. That's really weird. Then he says, but because I say it's weird because we've seen pictures since then, photos since then, that were created since then. So here he goes on. He says, NASA's Earth Observing System satellites were designed to give a checkup on Earth's health. By 2002, we finally had enough data to make a snapshot of the entire Earth, so we did. Listen to what he says he did. The hard part was creating a flat map of the Earth's surface with 4 months of satellite data. Then we wrapped the flat map around a ball. My part was integrating the surface, clouds, and oceans to match people's expectations of how Earth looks from space. My part was integrating the surface, clouds, and oceans to match people's expectations of how Earth looks from space. The ball became the famous blue marble. The picture that you saw on your iPhone was created because, according to the guy who created it, what you saw was what you expected to see. He created it to match your expectations. It's not what it really looks like. He used data from real satellites, is what he's saying. He's not saying that he made up everything. He used real data, but then he changed it and tweaked it and changed the clouds and changed the water and changed something to match what you expected to see. Why don't they think we can handle this stuff? Like, I just don't get that. And that really bothers me because I love space. You know what I mean? I just want to see what it really looks like. That's all I want to see, because I'll never go there. I'll never be in an X-Wing able to jump from planet to planet. That's not real. The X-Wings, sadly, don't exist. So I can't do that. I just want to see what it really looks like, man. I don't want to see what it looks like in Star Wars. I want to see what it really looks like. Why does the government do this kind of stuff? They do this kind of stuff a lot. And, you know, this is relatively harmless, right? I mean, they're showing me a fantastical image of a nebula, and it's not really what it looks like, but they're showing me something colorful and dazzling to the eye and all that kind of stuff. And, okay, harmless. What's the big deal? I'll never know, right? I'll never know. But the thing is, they lie about things that do matter as well. Y'all remember this? This is the food pyramid. This is the food pyramid. This is probably tattooed on your brain as well. You remember this from when you were a kid. The bottom of the food pyramid is whole grains, and this is actually an adjusted food pyramid. Let me find one from back in the day. Here we go. grains and cereals. You eat the most of that. Then you eat fruits and vegetables. That's what you eat next. And then you moderately eat dairy and meat. And then don't eat that much fat and sweets. Don't eat that much fat and sweets. That's the food pyramid, right? And the thing is, like, this food, I used to eat according to this food pyramid pretty much, and I was very unhealthy. And I don't mean like unhealthy, like intentionally. Like my blood sugar numbers were elevated. I had high blood pressure. I had bad triglyceride numbers. I had a lot of fat in my blood. I ate according to this food pyramid that I've learned, that's tattooed on my brain since I'm a kid, and I was getting sicker. Right? And I'm not a doctor, so this is not doctor advice. I'm just telling you my story. I saw somebody promoting a diet that essentially inverted this food pyramid. It said this is the opposite of how you should eat. Not completely, but basically. And basically said that you should have a lot of fat. Not that much grain at all. A lot of vegetables, yes, but try to avoid the very carby vegetables, the ones that have tons of carbs. Eat a lot of animal fats, eat a lot of dairy if you want, eat a lot of fats, but a lot of, kale, that kind of thing. Reduce the grains. All the thing that it says on the food pyramid that is tattooed on my brain since I was a kid, that's the thing you should eat barely any of. So I changed my diet. And it was weird because it's essentially inverted. Everything was upside down from what I've been told for 30 years. So let me just tell you about what this did to me. Let me tell you, in 2015, I had my blood tested, and my triglyceride number was 147. That's how much fat is in the blood. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to go into it really. But after consuming almost nothing but fat for a year, that dropped to 81. So I consumed more fat, and the fat in my blood went down. Okay? Here's the glucose. Here's my blood sugar number. When in 2015, when I was eating according to the food pyramid, my glucose number fasting was 108. High blood sugar, on my way to diabetes. Diabetes is rampant in my family. So I had diabetes, essentially, in 2015. A year of eating basically nothing but fat, animal fats, kale, no bread, no pasta, none of that stuff. None of the stuff that they said back in the day that you should eat a ton of. My blood sugar went from 108 to 94. Fasting. Okay? I've been eating this way for a lot longer, so my blood sugar is probably way better than that. This is just two numbers, right? I could give you much more, but my blood test was impeccable. I went to the doctor. This has never happened before. After inverting the food pyramid, after doing the opposite of what the government said, the doctor said to me, Adam, you're obviously healthy. I inverted this food pyramid. I didn't restrict myself. The only thing I did is I just didn't eat according to what they said I should do. I inverted it. I ate the opposite way. And I lost like 50 pounds in like 8 months. Something like that. I mean, this has real life consequences. The government has been telling people to eat a certain way for a long time as we get sicker and sicker and sicker. I'm not a doctor. Don't take my advice. You got to decide what's right for you. Here's another thing. Y'all have been seeing the memes about Epstein, They're really funny. They're great memes. You've seen them. They'll say a fun fact about the world, and then in the bottom they'll say Epstein didn't kill himself. Everyone knows that Epstein was murdered. Everyone knows that Epstein was murdered. The story made no sense from the beginning, and now doctor reports are coming out and saying, yeah, he didn't kill himself. This is a strangulation. Everyone knows he didn't kill himself. And yet, the government told you he killed himself. Why would the government do this? Well, all we have are theories, but, you're not an idiot. I'm not an idiot. You and I are not idiots. How and why would somebody murder Jeffrey Epstein? And why would the government insist that you believe a lie? Insist that you believe something that you know is not correct. Everybody knows it. Jeffrey Epstein did not commit suicide. What is the government hiding? Well, we don't know. We have theories. Disturbing theories. But Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Why is the government telling you he did? You see, it's more than just, cool-looking space pictures of nebulae and galaxies. Like, that's one thing. Look, you're going to, use some artistic flair to show me what the universe looks like. harmless, relatively harmless, right? I mean, disillusioned me as a kid, yes, you know what I mean? But relatively harmless. But the food pyramid's not harmless. The food pyramid's not harmless. This Epstein stuff is not harmless. I mean, this is real. This is real stuff, right? Like, so why does the government do this, and what do we do about it, right? The government lies about science all the time. I mean, they tell us that we've been, evolved over billions of years and think this and that, and really a lot of science, a lot of especially like historical science and origin science and stuff, it's really kind of designed with this whole idea that you're really not anything special. We're just a relatively normal organism on a relatively normal planet, orbiting a relatively normal sun. And by the way, there's countless numbers of these suns out there and countless planets out there. There's probably a lot of life out there too. This is what we're told. Like, everything just kind of is here to make it seem like we're just not all that special. Why is that? Why is that the big lie? Now you see, what do we do to counter these lies? Well, I mean, we've been talking about this a lot the last few weeks, but we have to be laser focused on what God says in that word. In that word. That's truth. That's where truth can be found. And the reality is, like, you have to have a healthy level of skepticism now with the government, because lives are at stake here. Epstein ruined tons of lives. Is someone in the government involved? Well, certainly seems like that. Certainly seems like someone who could reach him in a jail was involved, and you would think that they would have to be politically connected, right? I mean, why would the government give us the opposite of how we should eat? Why would they do that? I don't know. I don't know. Why would the government push science that essentially means that, you're really not that significant? When God says you're significant, you're made in his image. Why would they do that? I don't know. But I do know one thing. The scripture has something to say about this kind of activity. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. And here's the best part about this song. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. He will speak to them in wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree the Lord has said unto me, thou art my son, today I have begotten thee. Don't buy the lies, man. Don't buy the lies that make you feel like you're insignificant. You're made in the image of God. God has set his king on his holy hill. That king has died in your behalf. If there's anything you need to know that you're not just nothing, you're not just an ordinary, just nothing unremarkable, is that your king died for you. Take that to the bank, man. We need to be focused on this word, believing that which is in the word. Let every man be a liar, but God be true. Anyway, I don't really know exactly what the whole point of this video is. This has just been on my mind a lot because there's just so much lying going on. So much lying, and it ranges from harmless to very harmful. And we need to be very, very focused on the one source of truth. God's word is truth. God's word is truth. The truth is a person, and it's Jesus Christ. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. God bless.
Lies! Deceptions! Every day, more lies.